Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. God has great plans, I believe, in this church. So that's a lot. How many of you have seen that video before? Okay, I thought Pastor Rita said to show it again because this is on my website, and I wanted you to see this because it's important that you share this video with other parents. This is so insidious. It is so evil and deceptive, isn't it? Because you're talking about young children. And I can tell you, if I saw this as a young child, I would have definitely thought, what kid wouldn't question their gender after being given so many options? And then with the kind of pressure that you have to figure it out before you hit puberty. But don't worry, if you can't figure it out before then, you can always go on puberty blockers to give yourself more time to figure it out. It's insane, and it's evil. It's from the pit of hell, okay? It's something I weep over this. Now, this is already showing in some of our schools here in Orange County. I can tell you probably Irvine is showing these. They're very woke. I want to show you some more things. If you go to the next slide. So you might be seeing in the news right now that Newsom is putting out tons of money to give you free TK. Okay, so they are lowering, trying to provide preschool. Now, it sounds great because it's like, who doesn't want free preschool, right? But just be careful because this is what's in the 2020 National Association for Education of Young Children. And this is their glossary of terms. And according to their master plan for preschool, this is what they're using. So it's saying that gender identity is viewed by current science as fluid and expansive. So it's open-ended, starting at age 3. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This is a coloring page from the Black Lives Matter curriculum. And I want you, everybody tends to look at the very top because the font on the top says transgender affirming and it's large. But I wanted to focus on the text on the bottom that's in small print. And it says, everyone, by the way, this is for elementary kids, okay? Everyone has the right to choose their own gender by listening to their own heart and mind. Everyone gets to choose if they are a girl or a boy or both or neither or something else, and no one else gets to choose for them. So this is all about psychological confusion, okay? Or something else. You were talking about Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood fully endorses this. And what they talk about, they call it gender creative. So in other words, if you're just a boring male and female, that's not creative. You should probably think of something else that's a little more, exciting. By the way, who has a cell phone here with the iPhone? Anybody have an iPhone? Can I get one of you to bring up your iPhones? I want you to hear something. Just come on out. It doesn't. You have Siri, right? Okay, ask Siri this question. Ask her, come up here and we'll put it in the microphone. Because this is the agenda. I want you guys to hear it for yourself. Ask Siri, what's the difference between sex and gender? Somebody else can get Siri. You can get Siri. Oh. We'll microphone Siri what she says. Siri, what's the difference between sex and gender?
Gender is a personal identity based on a spectrum between or separate from male and female. Therefore, there can be as many genders as there are. Gender is often confused with sex, which refers to reproductive anatomy.
There can be as many genders as people. Did you know that? That's the agenda, folks. They're not hiding it. They're not hiding it. We just have to open our eyes. Very difficult to wrap our heads around this. But in Netherlands, they just put up a statue that's showing half female, half male. There's a, let me see if I put it in here. I don't think I did, but I want you guys to start looking around at the billboards. And do you see how they're, for COVID, you have the billboards of the Incredible characters. So you've got the social distancing, the mask, and the washing your hands. At the washing your hands, have you noticed the Dash Boy? His head is the male, the boy. The body is mom. They mix the genders. This is conditioning us mentally. It's very subtle, and it's very, it's there. It's real. Okay, here is, let's see, you can go to the next one. This was already in my video. Don't you find it interesting that all those videos were of people of color? Did you notice that? Are they targeting? But see, what they're saying, it's interesting because in critical race theory and ethnic studies, which they're pushing now, which they actually, State Board of Education just adopted, that we are to start, pushing that into the schools. And what they're doing is they're training high school kids to go into school boards and to become political activists, to push this, to empower them to go in and say, we need ethnic studies because if you don't have it, you're going to be racist. Let me tell you about ethnic studies. I've read it through, the curriculum, model curriculum. On chapter 3, page 6, on the very bottom, and they always do it on a footnote, so you can't really notice it. It says LGBTQ plus will be an unlimited, it'll be an ever-evolving, ever-expansive term throughout this document. So what they are doing, critical race theory, is basically saying, how many of you have heard of critical race theory? Let me tell you what that means. It means we have the haves and the have-nots. We have those that are marginalized, and then we have those that we say marginalized and oppressed, and then we have those that are considered privileged and oppressors. So basically, at the top, they would say whites, males, biological males, Christians, and heterosexuals are all considered privileged and oppressors. So anybody else who doesn't fit in that category are considered marginalized victims and the oppressed. So if you're a person of color, but understand that as they're going into this racism thing, biological genders, male and female, are considered privileged oppressors, where non-conforming genders are considered the victimized, marginalized, oppressed. So they're literally incentivizing, socially and emotionally incentivizing kids to identify as a non-conforming gender. Because who wants to be a mean oppressor? You don't want to be a mean oppressor. What kid wants to do that? Okay, let's go to the next one. I want to show you this. It's a, God is so good because I'm not very techie. I still have AOL.com as my email. That says something right there. But so does Pastor Randy, so I don't feel so bad. Anyways, we used to pastor in Las Vegas, and one of our youth pastors, he's now a senior pastor for Calvary Chapel in Utah, and he's a web designer as his tent making skills. And so he has taken on this project for me. And so he has created a website with a ton of documents. I'm able to put all my documents on here so that people don't have to take my word for it. You can see it with your own eyes, okay? I have videos, I have curriculum samples, because the districts aren't telling you. It's very intentional. But I will tell you, there's a lot of teachers that aren't aware. There's even a lot of administrators that aren't aware. When I was working at the Orange Unified School District, I was telling my supervisors things she did not know because I dug deeper. They're busy trying to do all this stuff. Most teachers are just busy, trying to get their lesson plans, and they don't dig into the research. But God has given me an opportunity to dig deep and to find these things before they're starting to come out more now. So people are starting to believe me now. But before, people weren't believing me at all. But I'm like, no, trust me, it's coming. They've already set the table. The laws have been placed. They're there. Okay, so let's go to the next one. That's a resource for you. So again, just know the letters that the Q. See, people don't realize the Q means queer or questioning. And when you have unlimited genders and unlimited sexual orientations and you give all these smorgasbord of options, what kid isn't going to be confused? It's like, wow, I didn't know I had so many choices, or I can even make up my own, right? So one thing about that questioning is in 5th grade, kids start taking surveys. in public school, and it's called the California Healthy Kids Survey, CHICS, right? And so you as parents can look over that survey, but just know that they are questioning your kids about their gender. They're questioning your kids about their sexual orientation. And let me tell you what's on that questionnaire. It says, starting, I believe, in 7th grade. Many of you are teachers, by the way. I heard Pastor Rita said there's some teachers here. Okay. Yeah, are you a teacher? Okay. On the 7th grade survey that kids take, it says, what's your sexual orientation? And they have 5 different categories. They say, I'm heterosexual, straight. I'm gay or lesbian. B, I'm bisexual. I'm unsure. I'm something else, or I refuse to answer. So out of those 6 choices, 4 out of the 6 fall under LGBTQ. Do you think they're stacking the deck in their research and their stats? And what kid, some kid could be goofing around and just say something else. I remember when I was in 7th grade, I would probably have put that. Oh, something else. I'll think of something. I don't like boys now. Anyways, they have cooties. So, it's just, and then questioning, unsure, that automatically puts them in that category. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, this is important because there's a document, and if you Googled it, it goes to California Safe School Coalition, and it's a question and answer document, okay? Literally on this document, and it's put out by the Teachers Association, which is the teachers union, and it's put out by ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, who's supposed to be for civil rights, okay? It says on here that for gender education, no parent notification is required for any grade level. That includes preschool. And there is no opt-out, absolutely none. It's not considered sex education. It's under anti-bullying. It's under diversity training. It's under those kind of categories, okay? So it's very tricky what's going on here. And if people don't, they give this, think about it, we all know when we read the scriptures, people of faith know very well Satan's tactics, right? Which is to mix a little truth with lie. That's the master of deception. And so he takes that apple, he takes a wormy apple and covers it with beautiful candy coating. And most people can't get past the candy coating until they're biting into that apple and it's toxic, okay? So we've got to, I pray every day, God, just please melt that candy coating away so people see what's really beneath all these beautiful words like welcoming, inclusion, anti-bullying, non-discrimination. They've thrown things in there. Anti-racism. They've thrown all this stuff in there. Unlimited genders. Okay, the next thing. The next slide, Mike. Okay, is we have a thing called, in Orange County specifically, multi-tiered systems of support. What that means is that every school district is encouraged to partner with outside agencies for the sake of meeting the needs of the whole child. And now that we've had COVID and the pandemic, they're really emphasizing how this has hurt kids' mental health, anxiety, increased depression, increased suicides, and that kind of thing. So now because of that, they are funding, bringing in all these mental health workers through many different modes. I'm going to give you some examples. So we have, with Santa Ana Unified, I know Santa Ana Unified partners with Planned Parenthood. Chalk, here in our own backyard, our legendary Chalk Hospital that has a stellar reputation. I'm going to tell you a few things they're doing that people do not understand or know. Chalk Hospital is partnering with many of our school districts. I know Irvine Unified, Orange Unified, some other school districts here. I think at least half of the school districts in Orange County. Chalk Hospital now has a gender clinic. Did you know that? They have a gender clinic. They start seeing kids at age 5. They're giving puberty blockers starting at age 9. Now, I know this because as a board member of Orange Unified, that was on our agenda to have Chalk Hospital partner with us for mental health for the entire district with 28,000 kids. To me, I'm like, wow, well, that just sounds like such a great deal. But then again, I thought, wait a second, free? Free? What's free? I know a psychiatrist gets at least $200 an hour. There's nothing free. They're getting something from this. So I called my somebody I knew that worked there and said, hey, do you guys have a gender clinic? Oh, yeah, we do. Oh. I said, well, I have to vote on this. So can you put me in contact with the head endocrinologist who's running the gender clinic and the head social worker? So I have lots of emails from them directly to find out exactly what they're promoting, which is unlimited genders, and you're going to see in just a second. And we have people, okay, the Trevor Project is also what our schools, I'll explain that later, and the LGBTQ Center, which is in Santa Ana, is also partnering with many of our schools and many of our school districts. Okay, and by the way, you can find out, just go to Orange County LGBTQ Community Partnerships, and all the partners will come out, and you'll see if your kid's school or district is partnering with them. It'll come up. Just check it out. Okay, next slide. Okay, so because my district partners with Planned Parenthood, they tell the kids, listen, if anybody else has questions, all you have to do is text PP now to 774-636. What kid doesn't want questions about, puberty or sex, right? So I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So I texted it, and this is what I texted them. I said, I'm an 11-year-old girl. I'm scared about puberty. I like boy things. I'm unsure about my gender. What should I do? This is what they sent me back. It was an automated response, and I screenshot it. What's your gender? Boy, man, cisgender, gender fluid, girl, woman, intersex, non-binary, questioning, transgender, something else. I want to name my own. Planned Parenthood. And then underneath that, it says, what do these mean? So you can click any of those, and it'll tell you, what they mean. Go to the next slide. Okay, then it took me to this. It said, oh, you can join a chat space with the LGBTQ. It says, chat space provides online discussion groups for teens facilitated by experienced staff who work at LGBTQ plus centers around the country. Okay, this is going on behind parents' backs. Parents have no clue. And how many, I'm sure there's teenagers that are doing this every day. They're getting, it's all programmed. So just so you know, if you go on, I've been on, looked at some of they've actually taken some down because people started talking about it. The LGBTQ community centers, a lot of their youth groups are ages 13 to 24. 13 to 24. So that's a grooming strategy. A grooming strategy. The next one is, what should I do if I identify as another gender? Well, let's see what I should do. Next slide. What are puberty blockers? So they explained to me, they gave me 3 pages about puberty blockers. And then I could book an appointment. So Planned Parenthood is now in the business of hormone therapy. Now they're doing it starting at age 18, but they have plenty of referrals where they can refer you to Chalk Hospital, because Chalk Hospital starts at 9. Okay, so let's go to the next one. When I talked about the Trevor Project, this little poster here, does anybody go to school in Santa Ana Unified or anybody work in Santa Ana Unified? Okay. Now Planned Parenthood, do you? Okay, what do you do there? Okay, good. So I don't know if you've been on campus, maybe not, but not for the last year. But when you go on, look into all the kids' bathrooms, starting in preschool, you're going to see this at eye level. It sounds very sweet, we care. It sounds very sweet and very good. However, look at the little we care on the bottom, the little LGBT rainbow part. This is for, it says right there, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is reach out for help because we care. I'm not okay right now. I'm here and I'm listening. These are supposed to be trusted adults that our kids can just call and get advice. So the Trevor Project is the second number, the 866 number. Let me tell you what Trevor Project endorses. Go to the next slide. This is an article from the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project's 2019 National Survey on LGBTQ youth mental health found that respondents used more than 100 different terms to label their sexuality. Identities like omnisexual, abrosexual, and scoliosexual may also describe a form of attraction to more than one gender. Though these identities are not necessarily synonymous or interchangeable with the word bisexual, multisexuality refers to all identities that include romantic and/or sexual attraction to people of more than one gender, which is pansexuality as well. So this is way beyond gay and lesbian, even, okay? This is way beyond. I mean, when it says LGBTQ+, that plus is giving the state a blank check of unlimited whatever. Unlimited. And in Teen Talk, it actually had, I couldn't believe it, in the curriculum it says, pansexuality is the romantic attraction to any gender or more, exclamation point. That is what was in the 7th grade curriculum, or more. What is or more? And how many genders are there? Parents are not aware of who's counseling their kids. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This is just, it's so crazy how this comes under mental health, suicide prevention, anti-bullying, diversity. It's insane. Okay, so this one, the American Academy of Pediatrics is what Chalk Hospital goes by. This is what the American Pediatrics says. This is straight off one of their websites. It says, at birth, babies are assigned male or female based on physical characteristics. This refers to the sex or assigned gender of the child. Meanwhile, gender identity refers to an internal sense people have of who they are. This may be male, female, somewhere in between, or a combination of both or neither. This is our American Academy of Pediatrics, folks. What is going on? This is supposed to be science? This is science fiction. This is science fiction. This is not, I don't care what expert's going to try to tell me this. And there is an agenda going on here, okay? Because these so-called experts, by the way, when I studied the National Sex Ed Standards of 2020, they literally changed the definition of fact in science. They have changed the definition. They said it can be based on objective data, or they use this word or that's very sneaky, or it can be the opinion of most experts in the field. And they choose the experts. They choose the experts. So just so you know, in 2017, the definition, the legal definition of gender identity changed to unlimited genders. Don't you think if that changed, that should have been headline news? Don't you think that maybe they would have thought we would have been interested in that subject? It got changed through Fair Housing, Fair Employment. That's who changed the definition. And I went on to talk to the chairman. And I said, by the way, why didn't you put out a press release? You're changing a human construct that's been around since the beginning of time. I don't know, you guys. I don't know what the agenda is, but it's weird, it's bizarre, it's insane. And we as a people have to stand up. And I'm going to tell you how to do that if you're willing. Okay, because I know you don't want just bad news. You want some good news, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so I talked to, I think I got that off. Oh, that was my fault. That's supposed to say victim and oppressed, social justice, marginalized. So basically our public schools, because of our teachers union, they're trying to teach our kids, and it can be very empowering for kids. I have a voice. I am someone based on my identity. Well, they start with race, your color, okay? And then they go on to your sexual orientation and your gender identity, and you're supposed to fight for that. So they are literally teaching kids to be political advocates. And they have, anybody here in PTA? Do you have any PTA people? Okay, well, PTA they have workshops and online modules that give the information to PTA people, and it's called Ed 100. And they are literally having a camp this summer for high school students per high school in the entire state of California this June, training kids to be political advocates. And one of the girls speaking is actually she said, oh, this girl made history because she's a transgender who gave her story to the Senate. Okay, but here's the deal. They actually changed the definition of transgender. In the National Sex Ed Standards, this is how deceptive they are. They change definitions and never tell anybody. So transgender, and I have it on my website. You can go to the National Sex Ed Standards, and it's on page 66, and it says, transgender now means a large number of identities. It's not just one. It's an umbrella term. Anytime you see the word umbrella, that means unlimited. The boundaries are now gone. Okay. So let's go to the next one. See, what they're trying to, go back to that one slide because I want to talk about this. Go back one. See, what they're doing with this is we have implicit and explicit bias. So what they're doing is with social emotional learning, because they are putting genders under the umbrella of race, that if you don't go along with this radical ideology, you're racist. You're racist. Yeah. But they don't catch it because it's so subtle and it's fragile. Okay, here we go. The next one. Now, I am a special ed teacher. We have a system called SACE, which stands for Special Education Information System. Under this, we have student information forms. And I noticed about 9 months ago, we have a new gender drop-down called non-binary, male, female, non-binary. In 2017, the teachers union helped pass a law, Senate Bill 179, saying that we would officially have a third gender that would go into effect in 2019. However, non-binary is not a third gender. Non-binary is an umbrella term, meaning unlimited gender, meaning both, neither, or something else. Okay? So what I've been doing is I've been contacting, in Santa Ana Unified, I've been contacting my special ed advisors. I've contacted SACE, the people who run this system, and I said, you need to be transparent in telling parents and all the employees that use this system the real definition of non-binary. It doesn't mean transgender. It doesn't. Transgender is binary. Transgender is male or female. Binary means two. You can either be one or the other as transgender. Non-binary means you're something other than, okay, male or female. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, I'm showing this picture, Celia Jaffe, because she's the president of the California PTA. Do you know her? Okay, well, all I'm saying is, you know that our warfare is not against flesh and blood. It's against the principalities of darkness. So we're not against people. We're not. But I'm just saying, isn't it interesting that we have the president of PTA in Orange County, in Huntington Beach? That's beautiful. That's to our advantage, okay? Because God's doing something really big here in Orange County, really big. There's a lot of things going on where they're trying to use Orange County to be the leader of the state of California. And you can, if you take down a conservative county like Orange County, you got the whole state. You get the whole state of California, you got the nation. We're very strategic, but there's God's people. And they're starting to look down. Okay, so what can we do here? Now, I've told Pastor Carl and your leaders, I said, man, you guys must be praying because like God's just in the middle of the night, I'm getting ideas, strategies, because I've been praying for years. I mean, I weep over this. It's sometimes overwhelming, all this information. I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg. There's so much stuff. But I said, God, I don't think I can handle this information. Like, it's too much to bear. You know, what am I supposed to do with this? And I said, but God, if you're giving me the information, then you must be, okay, like David, right? Give me the stone so I know what's going to take him down. So I have a strategy. What's the time, you guys? Am I done? I forgot to look at the clock. Oh, I have 2 minutes. Okay, quick. Go to the next slide. And this is the president, Candy Kern, who is the president of Orange County. Now, I have a strategy that you guys could do if you're interested, but maybe I'll save it in email or something. What do you want me to do? It's like, kind of. Okay. The thing is I emailed every state executive board member of PTA and every Orange County executive board member. So that was probably about, 50 people. And I told them, I said, you know what? Parents are being deceived in Orange County and in the state of California because we have this on our student information forms. We have it on our policies, non-binary, and they don't know what it means. I said, we demand transparency. You promised it, you deliver it. We want it. I'm asking, uncover, and uncover. Shine the light, expose. That's what we're called to do. We're called to expose the darkness. So that's what we can do. Amen.
The Rock of Salvation Christian Center of Orange County thanks you very much for your continual faithfulness.